there a dollar amount you can share with the tax?
No, I can't. And I don't want to share nothing with you anyways.
Why is that?
Do you mind really quickly just kind of explaining?
Hey everybody, it's Eugene Driscoll. Welcome to Valley Navel Gazing, the Valley Indy's weekly podcast. It is 12 a.m. Tuesday morning. Ethan Fry and I just filed a story on the ongoing Ansonia budget battle, a now long dispute between the Ansonia School Board and the Board of Aldermen over roughly $600,000 that the aldermen pulled away from the school district back in. So at the beginning of that, this podcast right there, that was I was touched by the school board chairman. It's just no other. It was one of the more surreal experiences as 20 years as a reporter. I asked school board president Bill Nimmons whether he could tell us the dollar amount that the taxpayer money, how much money was going to the schools in this settlement of sorts that has been approved tonight. And he didn't want to tell me nothing anyways, and then he sort of gently swatted, might be too strong of a word. There's video too on valleyindy.org. He tried to stop me from filming, and at first I thought he was kidding. You can just hear me say, please don't touch my camera. But then afterwards I couldn't hear what he was saying at the beginning. He was talking. I wasn't the only one filming. Obviously, there was a million. Right. The school's PR person had arranged for TV cameras to be there, so I could sort of understand it if I was in his face and it's just me and him. But I had a cell phone and I was hanging back. But I guess the cat's out of the bag. For years now, Mr. Nimmons and to some extent Cara Malone have said that the Valley Indy favors Ansonia Republicans and Mayor Cassetti specifically. And we've met with them and tried to go over their concerns, reviewed emails over letters to the editor and fact-checking. I feel like I don't know what else to do, but now this was done in public, so I just figured I would address it. I mean, they are free to feel that way, and we do take that into account, and I've tried to change the way we cover Ansonia schools by relying more heavily on streaming video and just letting the videos talk to themselves, speak for themselves, to try to sort of placate members of the Ansonia administration. But after tonight, I'm not sure what else I can do. Mr. Nimmons had emailed me on Friday, said the superintendent wanted to talk to me about something. I was busy. My aunt died. I had a funeral to go to Saturday, and I did not have any opportunity to talk to anybody by the phone. I was available sort of by email, but I'm sorry, the Ansonia budget battle, as important as it is, I had other things to attend to. Because I'm trying to figure out why he got so angry. I'm not sure, because there was nothing. That was the last contact I had with him, and I had emailed him back, and I said I can't speak. So at first I thought he was joking. But then I was trying to clarify what he had said, fact check, with the Ansonia School Board, because I was very confused by what Mr. Nimmons had said in his statement. I didn't know what was happening, what they had approved. It was
Well, they came out and said, well, like, we vote to accept a settlement, but then they said they couldn't say any details
except
about
that it was terrible. We're going to have to lay off teachers.
Right.
So I'm just trying to answer questions on behalf of Ansonia residents. That's all. So I could hear, as I was trying to get an idea, the school board lawyer said, I don't know what's going to happen. I was trying to ask him, what's going to happen tomorrow? You have the show cause hearing. Is it going to go forward? He said, I don't know. And I was just trying to get, are you going to go? I'm just trying to think, Ethan, do I have to send you to court tomorrow? Yeah. So I said to him, what's going to happen at 9:15? Are you going to be walking into the courthouse or not? And he said, excuse me, I don't know. And it was just very antagonistic, which is fine. But then I could hear Mr. Nimmons saying in the background, get Eugene out of here.
I say that in the office every. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
but yeah, that's I've never. I mean, I've only been a reporter since like 2004.
There was other reporters there. I wasn't the only one there.
I've never.
He was being interviewed by two people at the same time, the lawyer, and so then I went over to Mr. Nimmons, and this is all done behind the scenes. This sort of, we're bad. It's never on the record. Well, now it's on the record, and I advised Mr. Nimmons to go, his lawyer's right there, go find out what slander is, go find out what libel is, have an executive session maybe about
that's
that.
the school board's lawyer. He'd have to talk to. I guess he's acting in his official capacity, though, as school board president, as he's standing in the office. So
I'll play a clip
you
of
might
that.
have a claim of against the city.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently, I mean, I could go for assault because I was technically touched. We're looking, but I'm not, look, we're just reporting on this. We don't have any. Mayor Cassetti thinks we hate him. Everybody says we're on the other guy's side. We've tried to stay out of this dysfunction as much as we could. We're just trying to go down the middle of the road and just try to. There is a dispute. You want to hear what the dispute's over? Facebook is all over the place. The comments are all over the place. Everybody's spinning it as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Look, the school board last year, we didn't know if they were going to get Alliance District funding. They rely on that heavily. It's school reform program money. It's because the schools are to some extent underperforming, to put it in politically correct terms. So they get this money and they have to come up with specific reform programs. They didn't think they were going to get it, so the aldermen, according to them, floated them $600,000 with the assumption that, hey, if that grant money comes through, because meanwhile the state in their insanity had no budget. So all these towns are making budgets, and the state, who funds heavily Ansonia, they're off arguing with each other over their own dysfunction. So they pass a budget. Eventually, the Ansonia School District receives the grant money, and then the aldermen are like, well, we're taking that $600,000 back. But now there's a contention here. The school district says, according to state law governing Alliance District money, you can't do that. You cannot supplant local dollars with this Alliance District money. That's not how it works. This is money that goes above and beyond the local contribution, specifically to improve your failing schools. But
they also disagree that the aldermen were legally entitled to take the $600,000 back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that with Alliance District money, because you can't replace local dollars with Alliance District money. It has to be on top of.
They're saying that the Alliance District statute isn't the only reason. I'm getting off
The
into
city.
the weeds
That's
here,
that's the problem with this story.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own
because
shade.
of the budget law from the state prohibited them from.
I don't
doing
even
that as
understand.
well.
I don't know who they. But then the city's saying, well, wait a second. They're pointing to this other law.
They're pointing this to the same law, just different paragraphs of it.
No, well, Alliance District. No, there's specific laws over Alliance District money that have been around for years.
Yeah.
Because Derby's had it for years. Derby had the same argument. But Ansonia government, City Hall, is saying the state legislature has this law saying, wait, we can fix our budget because we're that dysfunctional on the state level. We can't even get you people money. That you can't predict anything. So the
school district is also pointing to that law, but a different paragraph of it that says they're right.
So there's a counterpart.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to keep it simple. You've got the Alliance District law and the state law saying, because that's what keeps coming out. If you watch the video that Ansonia government produced, they go to that. If you read the lawsuit that the school district has lodged against the city, they go to Alliance District. So anyway, I guess I'll play the second Mr. Nimmons thing, or should we even? I guess if you want to listen to it, it's on valleyindy.org. But Mr. Nimmons, I have nothing but respect for. I'm not looking to be Mr. Nimmons' arch enemy somehow. I don't know how this happened. But he apologized. He did send an email with an apology, and fine. People under a lot of pressure and this and that, but please, if you're going to accuse us of being on the take, of being bought, prove it. I guess it is what it is. But again, it doesn't affect. I mean, I'm just putting it out there, and hopefully we can move on. But if we're not, we make mistakes in stories, But I've gone out of our way with this particular issue to try to give both sides their due to the best of our ability. We're not the New York Times. We're not mind readers. We don't have a investigative staff to investigate everything that comes out of everyone's brain here. But we do the best we can, and we know that these allegations of bias are out there, and we try to adjust accordingly. But there's a point where you're being abusive. The more important thing here is that the trouble for the Ansonia School District is not over. According to them, although they're getting $500,000, according to the settlement approved Monday. That's going to carry them through to the end of this year. But next year, we could return to all this by this point next year and be in another complete meltdown in terms of the finances for the school district. And, basically the assertion by the school district is that they've been underfunded for years and years and years. They request a certain amount of money and they don't get it. And eventually that adds up. I think, just as an observer of this thing, this isn't exactly my opinion, but I think if you look at 2 lessons learned from this whole debacle is, number one, for lack of a better word, it's true that crap rolls downhill. You had the state dysfunction roll its way down and cause this problem in Ansonia to a large extent. Number two, all this wheeling and dealing that's been going on the last couple of years where we've had school board officials in here and they have, we have this agreement and we're going to give back this money and this money's going to be in this pot. And then the aldermen are like, yeah, it's all kind of, it's to some extent, the lawyers now are negotiating budgets every year based on these bizarre agreements. And I think clearly...
And try reading one and making, clear sense of it.
Legal agreements can be interpreted in a million different ways by a million different attorneys. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on attorneys, but that's what's happened.
To come back to, they both sides have different interpretations of the state budget law from last year, and overhearing the attorneys talking in court today, they were basically saying it all could come down to whether there was a comma before the word "and" in one of these.
That's how insane this is.
Yeah.
And that's what they call Connecticut the land of steady habits and tradition in Ansonia and Derby. Tradition's important. I think one of the lessons we've learned here is you got to stick to the way you create the budget process in the charter has to be adhered to. Well, I mean, on the positive side, it's nice to see so many. We went to that hearing, the informal forum on the school budget. I guess it was last week, which was led by an attorney, which I think frustrated the heck out of a lot of people because it was not a complete answer on anything. But Dr. Malone asked us to live stream that. So that's why I was just so taken aback by, and we did. It's it wasn't the best audio, but we did that. We so, but it's nice to see the hundreds of people. No matter how they feel, at least people are there. I hope this is a self-involved podcast, but it
is actual navel gazing.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I don't know. Maybe we can just reset on this thing. I mean, you got to go to court tomorrow and cover this, but. We're really not out to hurt the Ansonia School District or Ansonia government for that matter, because, I mean, we'd like to see them all succeed. To be perfectly honest, I'd love to see them resolve their issues, move on. I'd love to see the school district get all the money it needs because, why wouldn't anybody?
Yeah.
So... and then, of course, on top of all this is, the regionalization committee kicks off June 20th. There's a press release on our website about that. And, I mean, if that vote was held today, it would just fall apart in seconds because there's already been factions forming in both cities to oppose that whole effort. So all the drama and fighting and Facebook back and forth that's happening has already started to affect that, and it hasn't even had its first meeting yet. So we'll see what happens there. So I don't know what else to say. I don't mean to be so negative, but I just thought it was important to bring this issue to the forefront because it's just me and Ethan here. So that's that. You got anything else you want to say?
No.
Goodbye.
Nothing I should.